There have been multiple relationships on The Rookie that have shaped the show into what it is today. Most of these relationships are positive for the show and its characters. However, there's one relationship that's not only promoted growth in the characters involved, but has also made The Rookie into a viral sensation online, bringing a whole new group of fans to the show and making the show much more successful. This ship is the relationship between Lucy Chen and Tim Bradford, or as the fans like to call it, Chenford. We're gonna start with the history of Chenford and where they stand today, and then we'll look into just how influential this couple really is. Lucy and Tim's story starts all the way in the beginning during the pilot episode, where Lucy, a new rookie, gets paired up with her new training officer, who happens to be Tim Bradford. In the beginning of the show, Tim was aggressive, straight to the point, strict, and has a very hands-on approach to how he trains his rookies, while also being indirect with his training to make his rookies' training more challenging. One of the ways he would do this is through Tim tests, putting Lucy in hard situations to trick her into failing. This didn't sit well with Lucy, and while she was respectful about it, she would also push back on these Tim tests and show her disagreement with how Tim was handling her training. From their interactions in the first season and the first half of the second season, you would think to yourself, these people hate each other. They would never be actual friends, let alone have feelings for each other. But time went by and some traumatizing experiences pushed them closer together. And all of that started with the Caleb Wright situation in season 2's DOD, also known as Day of Death. Caleb Wright, who was a serial killer and was a puppet of Rosalind Dyer, had a new target: Lucy. He pretended to be a love interest for Lucy, and Tim even encouraged her to go out with him. Little did he know that that night he would drug Lucy and kidnap her, and he was ready to kill her. But when that news broke, Tim was ready to save her. Even though Caleb buried her underground and was so sure that she would suffocate and die down there, Tim saved her life because of a ring she left on the surface. And when Tim finally got her out of the barrel, he had her in his arms. And this was the first time the audience saw something there. They started to think, what if? As the seasons went on, the showrunners decided to test the reception of the audience when it comes to the possibility of Lucy and Tim having feelings for each other. A couple examples being in the season 3 episode Amber, where she pranks Tim by saying that she has feelings for him.
I have feelings for you.
First of all, thank you. Lucy, I'm flattered. I am. Listen. Are you kidding me?
And then they introduced Chris as a love interest for Lucy, and then Tim had to pretend he wasn't jealous, even though he really was, but that's besides the point. But where they really wanted to test the reception was at the end of season 4 with a dim and juicy plot line. In season 4's episode, Day in the Hole, Lucy and Tim meet their doppelgangers, Jake and Sava, who they must act as for an undercover mission to take down Roy Hodgett, a massive drug trafficker. During this mission, they had to play being a couple to make the mission more believable. And in order to do that, they had to try some new things. Yeah, let's just say the audience freaked out over this storyline when it aired. Anyways, in season 5's first episode, it's clear that Lucy caught feelings given the dream she was having, and while Tim's in denial of it, he feels it as well, and this is evident when he's talking to Lopez about it. Once this mission is towards its end, Tim and Lucy have a conversation about how they feel about the kisses, and they said it was nothing. Oh, nobody was believing that garbage. Over the next few episodes, the tension started to ramp up. With the feelings building up while Tim and Lucy were in different, separate relationships, they had to know their time was coming. And finally, in season 5's episode, The Caller, Tim gives in and asks her out. And...
Do you want to get dinner sometime?
Yes.
Yeah.
No. Yet. I owe it to Chris to end things the right way with him. Ask me again. Later. After.
Ouch. But they made sure to make it clear that it was just until Chris and her were broken up. And a few episodes later, they go on a few dates, and one thing led to another. The audience finally got what they wanted. Tim and Lucy were together, and they were destined to be endgame. Or were they? They broke up in season 6, which caused audience outrage. This couple that people have been waiting for years to come true broke up within one whole season, and it had people very disappointed. Fans all over social media were begging for Alexi Hawley and the other showrunners to put them back together once and for all, something never seen with any other relationship in the show's history. And unfortunately, as of season 7 episode 13, when I'm writing this, they are not back together still. However, the show has hinted at them coming back together once again in the near future. A few instances were during the party when they hooked up in the episode The Gala. Then there was during the wildfire when they were stuck in the fire. When they both thought they were going to die, Tim confesses that he still loves her, and Lucy indirectly does the same.
Yes, I do. I know what you're gonna say. You're still in love with me.
Wow, the arrogance!
Am I wrong?
No! Okay, no, you're not wrong. Of course I still love you. You?
Oh, you were infuriating.
I know!
Finally, in April Fool's, they spent the whole day pranking everybody by pretending to be together again. But the whole prank was just an act so then they can get it on with each other for the day without being called out on it. And as of right now, that's where their story is left off. Now, it's time to talk about the impact that Chenford has had on the show's reception and viewership. There was something about Lucy and Tim that people wanted to see so badly. Nolan and Bailey, Nyla and James, even Wesley and Angela. None of these couples had the same energy from the fans. Fan accounts with tens of thousands of followers. TikTok and YouTube shorts with millions of views. Unprecedented outrage when they broke up. There are some people on the internet who have never even seen a full episode of The Rookie, but keep up with Chenford. Why is this? It's because of their dynamic. From the very beginning of the show, we saw these two grow together throughout different stages of each other's careers. From T.O. and Rookie to Sergeant and aspiring Sergeant who tried detective and undercover work. You know what? Lucy's career could be an entire other video of its own, so leave a like if you want to see that video. With the other couples on the show, those couples have never worked with each other, and we only saw their relationships bloom through B plots in the show. However, having both Lucy and Tim working with each other at practically all times from the beginning allowed viewers to see their relationship bloom front and center in the A plot. Not to mention that with some of the other ships, there's reasons why we shouldn't be excited about them. With Nyla and James, their relationship is very controversial online because their dynamic only leads to arguments and disputes, and despite the love they have for each other, their relationship is destined to fail at some point. For Wesley and Angela, they paired up super early in the show, and to be honest, we've seen it all. From dating to marriage to 2 kids to getting kidnapped by a Guatemalan drug cartel leader, there really isn't much growth left to see from them. And for Nolan and Bailey, their relationship is controversial because the character of Bailey is controversial on her own. So none of these couples get the same praise and attention as Chenford does. The relationship also wasn't forced by the writers because unlike all the other relationships, they didn't write Tim and Lucy with the intention of getting them together. They got to grow naturally, and everyone got to see their growth, a dynamic that is rarely ever shown in television, or even media in general. This has made their story extremely easy to follow, to the point where you could probably go on YouTube right now, only watch YouTube shorts of Chenford clips from the show, and you could still understand what's going on. This is great because it gave people online, who have never watched the show, a bunch of content to watch, and it built interest in people's heads. Then those people went on to watch the rest of the show. This brought a massive influx of new fans to the show over the years. With a show having peak viewership at its 7th season is very rare in television. But above everything else, there's still one massive reason that they're so popular. It's that their dynamic is a shipper's wet dream. When you look at the big picture of their relationship, what you have is a taboo pairing of a superior and a subordinate who has to hold their feelings back because it's just not right. It's a slow burn relationship that had very intimate moments in between that they shared with one another. They watched each other date other people while secretly pining for each other, and an audience eats that type of content up. However, I feel like I can't make a Chenford video without talking about the other side of the fandom, the Chenford haters. There's people who believe this relationship has ruined the show. One of the reasons people are upset with Chenford is that the writers ruined a perfectly good platonic friendship, and that their dynamic also fell into the male and female must be together trope that is so common in entertainment. Another reason that people don't like Chenford is because back in the way beginning of season 1, when Lucy and Nolan were dating, this was seen as wrong and could land her with a bad reputation. We saw Officer Bishop warning Lucy multiple times that dating in the department could brand her and that she shouldn't do it. but it's the entire reason they broke up in the first place. And what's crazy about this is they were both rookies at the time and didn't have a skewed power dynamic like Tim and Lucy had for most of the show. So why was it okay for Chenford to be a thing when Lucy and Nolan had to split? While I see the points that these people make and I actually somewhat agree with them, I also can't deny that Chenford has become a very important and influential ship in the Rookie, and I do believe that they should get back together in the future. But let me know in the comments what you guys think of Chenford and why you like them or don't like them. Thank you for watching, and subscribe for more videos like this one.